Speaking of those aforementioned Gators, Florida has a chance to potentially bounce back. I don't know if that's going to happen, but they head to LSU where they're 9.5 point underdogs. LSU had a tougher than expected win over Louisiana Tech, and Florida obviously loses at home to the South Florida Bulls. That is not a great thing if you're Billy Napier. It feels like he's probably on his way out. It's just a matter of how many more losses do they have to stack up before that happens. DJ Lagway so far has looked all right at times, but overall this offense has kind of stalled. You only put up 16 points against a group of 5 team. Something has to change here. You have to be able to find a way to bounce back. Pounding the rock is going to be a big part of that. Jaden By's been really good so far. 27 carries for 197 yards, 7.3 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. I think that running the football is a great way to slow down LSU's offense. You keep the ball out of their hands. You keep it away from Garrett Nussmeier, and that is something that could have a tremendous impact on this game. I think that if you're Florida, you have to find ways to do that because you're not going to win if you're trying to go score for score against LSU. You're just not going to. That's not a successful formula that you can follow. You have to keep their players in front of you. They have so many explosive weapons, and it's going to be tough. This is an offense that's full of pass catchers that can hurt you. Aaron Anderson is off to a good start. The tight ends for LSU have been a factor. We saw that against Clemson. And Nick Anderson, who is one of the best wide receivers on this roster, has been largely absent in terms of production. Same thing with Chris Hilton. So just because you stop some of the good guys that are having good seasons right now, like Aaron Anderson, doesn't mean that you're guaranteed success, because you have so many different players to worry about. And after last week, it's easy to see why people maybe are a little bit skeptical of what this team can do. This defense is going to have its work cut out for them, and it's going to be for a different reason. You have to be disciplined. And honestly, there's a lot of pressure on this team. Your coach is kind of on a hot seat. He's not in the best position when it comes to keeping his job. And not that these kids are directly responsible for being invested in that, but they definitely know that they have to play better. And it's a season that can quickly get away from you if you're losing to a group of 5 team and then you followed up with a disappointing loss to LSU. That is something that you want to keep an eye on. And not that this team's going to quit, but this game could have big implications for how this team performs long term and how long Billy Napier is around. Now, if you're LSU, you're 2-0. You've got that win over Clemson on the road. That was a solid win for this team. But I think overall, there are some questions. This is not the most efficient team. This is not the most explosive team yet. We've seen that this is a group that has struggled, and we've also seen some good things. So I think I just described like every college football team, but LSU is no different. They have been good at times. They've also struggled at times. I mean, last week, only winning 23-7 over Louisiana Tech. Now, maybe Louisiana Tech is better than expected, but that's not a promising result. You're trying to prove that the Clemson win was a good win, and then you struggle against Louisiana Tech. It also doesn't help that Clemson needed a comeback win over Troy. So those are two things that aren't exactly adding up, but you can't really do anything about that. You're 2-0. That's what you have to focus on. I think keeping DJ Lagway in check for the most part is going to be a big part of that. Play action is a big way that Lagway has success, and being disciplined on that. LSU's defense has done a really good job of elevating its game, and so far this is a group that's playing with a ton of confidence. If you're able to swarm him, get some pressure on him, be disruptive, this is going to go in LSU's favor relatively quickly. That's something to keep an eye on. And honestly, this quarterback battle between Garrett Nussmeier and DJ Lagway could be really fun. I think that both of them have a ton of talent, and both of them could go back and forth. And it would be really fun if it was a shootout, if it was a barn burner, just going back and forth, trading blow for blow. That would be really fun to watch. But I think that if you're LSU, getting off to a fast start kind of ensures that that won't happen. Again, your defense, if you're LSU, is playing a lot better than what we anticipated coming into the year. They've exceeded expectations. This is another opportunity to do that. The other thing is, don't beat yourselves. Not that LSU has done that, but Florida has done that. They literally did it last week. Beating yourself is a quick way to lose this game. And weird things happen in this game sometimes. So being disciplined with that, not taking stupid penalties, not making those mental mistakes, keeping control of the football is going to help you tremendously in this one. And it's going to be fun to see how this team can stay disciplined and how they can create those explosive plays. Overall, you should feel pretty good about what LSU brings to the table. I don't have a reason to believe that Florida can win this one. If college football is truly chaos, that'll be really fun, but I think that LSU comes away with this one. I don't have a ton of concerns about their ability to win this football game unless Florida looks drastically different than it did last week.